Yep. Or any of the UT, SAUT, EPs, the FIUs, the FAUs.
Is it going to sell 10,000 more tickets? I don't think it will, but it's more interesting.
And more importantly for Andy Kennedy, you do get the Wichita State, and you get the Memphis, and you get all that when it comes to basketball too, and that becomes a much better basketball conference.
You can draw those crowds for basketball. I mean, not only is the product going to be good, and the product's really good in football, but the problem is there's a lot of people that are watching other games.
Absolutely. That's our show today. We are back with you tomorrow live. The replay starts in just a second on the app. You can always get us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter for the entire show. Have a good day. God bless you, and God bless America.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Wayne's, headquartered in Birmingham. They are committed to providing world-class service every time since 1973, serving over 100,000 families from businesses across SEC country, from Tuscaloosa to Auburn and Nashville to Knoxville, providing residential and commercial termite protection, pest prevention, mosquito control, and lawn care services. Put in promo code TNR for $60 off your initial EnviroPest service, 866-WAYNES1.
How do you know you're in a community, not just a town? Well, strangers smile as they walk by. They refill your coffee without you asking. And when you ask directions, people offer to walk you there. Communities give more. The way you know when you walk into First Bank that you are in a real community bank. Great products, direct access to your local bankers, and relationships that can last a lifetime. Don't just have an account. Have a community with First Bank. Member FDIC.
Anheuser-Busch wants every experience for you around beer to be a good one. And getting home safely is always a priority. So encourage friends to decide to ride, whether it's by being the designated driver, calling an Uber, or taking public transit. You cannot drive drunk if you don't drive there. This message is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Uber, Birmingham Budweiser, and the Next Round. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call. LT takes off the gloves for an in-depth conversation with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmond Vodka. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Drunk driving prevention is a priority at Anheuser-Busch. You can't drive drunk if you don't drive there. Encourage friends to join in the pledge to Decide to Ride on DecideToRide.com. Brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Uber, Birmingham Budweiser, and the Next Round. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We will get into what we saw last night on the baseball diamond and the college football field in just a second. But I came across one of our talking points yesterday, and I heard it on the replay as I was riding around on the app. The amazing stat that the NFL was floating around last night, that Lamar Jackson has more total yards than 18 NFL teams at this point in the season.
It's incredible.
And that includes the Dolphins and the Lions, but also teams like Aaron Rodgers' Green Bay Packers. Lamar Jackson by himself, 1,860 yards of offense. That's more than 18 teams' total yards so far.
Well, boy, I knew he was going to have to pick it up when J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards went down. I didn't realize it was going to be to that level. I mean, this is a fascinating year in the NFL because there legitimately is going to be 6 or 7 MVP candidates.
Yeah, I am not the least bit surprised he's got more total yardage. It's an amazing stat than Miami, though, having watched the Dolphins. Their offense is atrocious. So if you had told me there's like 2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I would have said
it's half the league.
Jets, Broncos.
Yeah, Dolphins, a couple teams.
Texans.
Lions. I could believe that.
But, I mean, the Packers are trending to be a playoff team, more yards than them.
Yeah, but, I mean, this is half the league, basically. He's got more total yards than them.
The Bengals' offense has been pretty good at times, more than them.
I thought the stat you were going to throw out was you can't believe the league's got 650,000 emails, and the only ones they pulled were John Gruden.
Can you imagine reading those?
Oh, God.
All right.
That's somebody's job, right, to go through every one of those emails.
What would be your – and obviously we don't want to go down that road because that thing, it's no telling what direction it's heading. But is it to the point where you have a group of guys, girls that have to go through this and read this stuff, and you've got look for keywords?
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can digest all of the content there.
You could put them in a system and look for keywords, like keyword the F word, or keyword the P word.
Yeah, but if I don't know the keywords I'm looking for, that makes it tough. You know who's the biggest fan of this email scam? Is Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, 100%.
I mean, there is.
It's disappeared. But, we brought that up. It's Urban Meyer is going to deal with this until either he wins a game or the next controversy. And the next controversy came quickly.
Came very quickly.
Everywhere you look, though, on the NFL hot seats, Urban Meyer is trending. That he's not. I mean, it happens a lot in the NFL more than it does in college. There are several you can go look, one and done situations in the NFL. That rarely happens in college without controversy. Urban Meyer is one of those guys trending in the Freddie Kitchens direction.
Yeah.
Freddie made it more than one. Did he go 2 or was it 1 year for Freddie?
I think it was one and done for Freddie, yeah.
One and done.
One and done because, he had that kind of the end of the year where, he took over as interim coach and they were like, man, this is really working. We love the rapport he's got with Baker Mayfield.
That's what he was. He had some interim.
Yeah. And then he took over and they were like, wow, this guy's overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And Cam Cameron, your guy, went 1-15, I think.
That is correct. He was a one and done with the Dolphins. I mean, you get him in the NFL. It's not that uncommon in the NFL.
But if I'm Shad Khan, I mean, you vetted, you knew what you were getting in Urban Meyer, and I don't know what the expectation was. Again, this team lost 15 consecutive games to end last year. They've now lost 20 consecutive games. They've got a rookie quarterback. It's going to take time to build this. I don't know what y'all's expectations for the Jags were. I thought they would be better than this.
Right.
But I didn't expect much.
This was about my expectation for the Jags, honestly. First ever NFL head coach, rookie quarterback, a team that was already bad enough to be drafting first. It's not exactly a recipe for success.
Yeah, but they are trending towards, they have that feel of a 1-16 or the first ever 0-17 team in NFL history. We'll see what happens with the NFL. Crank's back up tomorrow night, Thursday night, with the Buccaneers and the Eagles. Tom Brady's thumb bandaged during media availability and practice yesterday. He says it's sore, but he will play in that contest as we get to another week of the NFL. But what did we see yesterday on the field in baseball and last night in college football? Is brought to you on the First Look today by our friends at the University of Montevallo. U.S. News and World Report calls Montevallo a top 15 public university in the South, and you can see why online right now at montevallo.edu. Montevallo.edu, a college of distinction for 10 years running now, a top 20 best value school according to U.S. News and World Report, and Southern Living calls Montevallo one of the South's most beautiful college campuses. 75 majors, 21 Division II scholarship sports, all right there in a small setting, perfect academically for your son or daughter. Take a look right now at montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu. Let's go baseball first, because a great managerial move, I thought, by the Brewers and coach and the manager's counsel, Craig Counsell, to bring in your Hader right there in the 8th inning because of who was coming up in the Braves lineup in the 8th and not in the 9th. Just it doesn't have to be the closer. Big point in the game at the end, 8th inning, because you were getting the heart of the Braves order, including Freddie Freeman, who is a left-hander, and Hader's the big left-hander power pitcher who can heat it up to 100. Freddie Freeman times one perfectly and launches one that sends the Braves now into the National League Championship Series. It was the right move by the Brewers.
It was.
And it shows off how good of a hitter Freddie Freeman really is.
I mean, look, I heard it was Buster, I think, this morning saying Hader is the most dominant reliever in the game, and he has been. I mean, he hadn't given up a run since July 28th. So you assume he's going to be able to hold, maybe give you 2 innings. And the Brewers' bats finally came alive. It took them until the 5th inning or the 4th inning, top of the 4th, where they scored that 2 spot. But I think they had gone 19 consecutive innings without scoring a run. So, they were getting some key hits. And they even, they were leaving guys on base. So if you're Craig Counsell, you figure, hey, we might be able to eke out a run here. Let's get Hader and stop the bleeding. And, Freeman the guy's clutch. What do you say, reigning MVP?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking about this morning. This is so knee-jerk of me to do, but I was thinking about it this morning. I mean, the greatest Brave of all time is Henry Aaron. I think most would say Chipper Jones is number 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, keep in mind, in that series that's happening right now, both teams had 44 on their jerseys because of his days in Milwaukee.
Right. So, I mean, nobody's going to argue it's Hank Aaron. I don't think anybody would argue it's Chipper Jones, too. It's hard to go against either one of those. Yeah. The pitchers become complicated.
It does.
Because they only pitch once every 3 or 4 days, but you had some dominant pitchers through the 90s.
Yeah, if you're just going position players, I know where you're going, and I think you can make the argument that Freeman is 3.
I think he's 3.
Smoltz, Maddox, Glavine, that order for me always.
Probably so. Yeah. But if you just went positional players, I really do think all-time Braves, you go Aaron, Jones, and now Freddie Freeman.
And then 4 would be Dale Murphy?
Dale Murphy, probably. I'd put Freeman in front of Murphy. Now, Murphy's going to have better home run numbers. Freeman kills him in average. I assume, I'm not a connoisseur of this, but I assume they're similar in the field. Yeah. Right? I don't know that one was a liability or is great or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I mean, quick answer
I just look at the easy numbers.
In the 70s, for that generation, it was Henry Aaron. Mm-hmm. For the 80s, in that
Dale
generation, Murphy. For the 90s and early 2000s, it was Chipper.
That's right.
And this generation is Freddie Freeman. Yeah, it's pretty simple that way.
One of the greatest Braves of all time, and he cemented that. I mean, you have big moments with Freddie Freeman, and yesterday was one of those big moments. What amounts to a walk-off home run, though you didn't walk it off, you had to get 3 more outs, to send your team to the NLCS.
In the chat room over here, we appreciate all you guys jumping in. Jeff gives us great moment for Freddie, one of the best moments in his career. I'll tell you what I love. I mean,
if that sent them to a World Series, that's one of the top.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean, I guess the top Braves moment. I mean,
Sid
winning a
Bream
championship, but Bream at the plate. Yeah.
That's the number one, even more than the World Series, I think.
Yeah, because that was when Atlanta finally broke through.
That's right. It was the breakthrough moment, and it was such a photo finish and dog pile and everything. But what I liked about it yesterday was, like the Red Sox have the cart, where they jump in the garbage bin and roll them down after a home run and all that. I mean, Freddie did all of the high fives, but then he did the rare. He comes out for the curtain call, and the place is going crazy, and then he steps out, and it goes to a different level of craziness.
Oh, he's beloved,
and it is one of the great moments in Freddie Freeman's career.
Well, it's an MVP too, kind of calling a shot. He knew in that spot with 2 outs, hey, look, it's kind of a bomb here or nothing.
Yeah,
and Hader in his entire career had only given up 7 home runs to left-handers. I mean, the guy has just been dominant lefty on lefty.
But it was the right call. I agree with you. The old school manager keeps his closer to the 9th no matter what. But new school guys have basically said if the meat of the order is up in the 7th in a 1-run game, that's the most important time of the game. I'm going to have my best, most dominant pitcher in at that time.
I know people have dogged Brian Snitker here and there, but for this team, 88 regular season wins from where they were back in the middle of the summer to where they are now. This is incredible.
Yeah, all the guys they've lost, Ozuna, Acuna, all the I
was
those guys?
talking to a big Braves fan last night at Taco Mama, one of our fine sponsors, and I do think whoever wins tomorrow night is going to still win the World Series. I think those are the 2 best teams in baseball. So whoever the Braves stack up against, it's going to be an uphill battle.
105 and 104 wins in the regular season. The Dodgers keep it alive as their bats explode against the Giants. No game today, but a Game 5, deciding Game 5, back in Pac Bell or whatever you want to call it in San Francisco.
Well, it's really exciting that these two teams obviously had never met in the postseason, and now the two best teams with 100 or 213 combined wins. It comes down to one game, and in the regular season, the Giants eked out the Dodgers 10-9 by 2 total runs, and this just shows you the Dodgers how bad they can be offensively for some of their great pitching. And 2 of the 4 games they get shut out, and then the 2 other games they combine for 16 runs. And, tomorrow night is going to be exciting for any casual baseball fan because you have one of the best rivalries outside of maybe Boston and New York. In all of baseball, it comes down to one game. Dave Roberts obviously made the right decision giving the ball to Walker Buehler on short rest. Didn't work out as much for Charlie Morton. The Braves still got away with it. But Walker Buehler was dominant last night, and I didn't realize this. He's now got a 1.25 ERA when the Dodgers face elimination.
Ooh.
The guy's just been dominant.
That's the guy you want to roll out.
Pitch him again tomorrow night,
Can
right?
you roll out on Thursday
Urias will be
again?
good, though, man. Urias is 25, and he's got 19 postseason appearances already. Almost as many postseason appearances than years.
But doesn't some of his appearance come out of the bullpen in relief, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was on the mound for, shutting down your Rays and, final out last year.
It seems like he came in anytime last year in the World Series that we had anything brewing. Here would come this kid out of the bullpen to shut us down. So the Dodgers and Giants, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. The Braves are waiting on the winner of that. The American League is set. The Red Sox had eliminated my Rays 2 nights ago. And then yesterday, the Astros eliminate Forrester's White Sox. We don't have the Forrester cam up yet. That's coming in 2022. Forrester, do you want to run up behind Rockstar there and let us do a well? You don't? Okay.
No, okay.
No welfare check for Forrester. He is camera shy today.
It's dusty in here.
Yeah,
that
dusty
was,
in here.
There was no drama yesterday.
There was not. I saw one of the saddest moments, and I know Scott saw this too. It was like, I don't like the Astros, but it was like 10-1, 7-1, whatever it was, blowout. Dude, the game had already been decided, basically. And they're just doing random shots, and all of a sudden the crowd goes crazy. Crowd just goes crazy out of the blue. And I'm like, as a guy running on the field or whatever, and whoever's doing the play-by-play is like, you hear the crowd in the background, and the reason they're cheering is the sun has just broken through here at U.S. Cellular Field, or whatever they call it now. And literally they show it, and the clouds have split, and the sun has come out. I'm like, my gosh, that's sad. You're cheering the sun coming out.
It's something, guys.
Well, they know what's coming in Chicago, winter.
I know. This is our last chance to see it.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Look at some guy's ripping his shirt off, and he's waving his shirt in the air.
The White King is coming to Chicago, no doubt. The White Sox are out. That's your baseball look. Part of our show being brought to you today by our friends at Hemp Hill. As you start to clean up the mess of those other teams in the playoffs and get to the Final Four, Hemp Hill can clean up the mess at your house.
Yeah, hey, look, when something's not running right, flowing right, draining right, or flushing right, disaster can strike at any moment. The first call you need to make is the first call I've always made, Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill, the only ones I trust to fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services, they do it right, always at a fair price for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Trust the name. Birmingham's trusted since 1954. Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090.
All right, at the time this play happened, I was in a game of Super Mario Brothers with my 7-year-old, so I saw it happen and didn't hear the audio. The foul catch.
Yeah.
So the ruling was that you can't review a catch in foul territory, only in fair territory? Is that the rule?
Yeah, that's the ruling.
Did you know that?
The only thing I didn't know, because I've never seen anything quite like that, and I guess it never comes into play because you seem like you've got eyes right there on it.
Yeah.
You've got, obviously the outfield is so massive compared to this compacted spot that you've got in the infield. So it should be typically an easy call.
I mean, only the Braves could find themselves in this situation. They managed to do it somehow, but I had no idea that was even a rule.
I think you can review if it hits the netting or fan interference, that kind of stuff.
But catch,
too.
no catch, basically, you can only do it in fair territory.
Which makes no sense.
weird.
Zero sense.
You should be able to review anything if you've got review. To college football last night, LT is very, very transparent, had a brutal Sunday with his lock. But last night, I mean, I was this close yesterday to going App State on a stake. This close. And then I'm glad I backed off. App State on the road at Louisiana, and the Ragin' Cajuns flexed their muscle. Not even close last night as they blow them out 41-13. And, I was looking forward to next week's App State Coastal game. I'm not really looking forward to that.
I mean, it really it kills it. But I give Billy Napier a lot of credit. I mean, Louisiana was prepared. They scored touchdowns on their first 3 drives.
Is this his last year in Louisiana?
I think so, because I think they're going to be the LSU job, the USC job are going to be open, and they're going to draw names that are going to open up some other jobs. I think domino effect. I don't know that he can get LSU, Lance, and I don't guess Southern Cal would even consider him. But I think domino effect will get him out of Louisiana.
Yeah, probably. And if you're Billy Napier, if you get an opportunity, why would you not take it?
Yeah.
I mean, you
What
can
about
only do so
Miami?
much.
Would you leave Louisiana for Miami? He's been very patient, and he's been pretty demanding, according to reports, of what he wants at his next job. He wants Nick Saban-like control, this and that, and these kind of buildings and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you don't know if Miami can do that.
It sounds stupid, but I am told. I talked to someone about this last week, actually, about Billy Napier. It was a random conversation. And he said that he's actually got that at Lafayette, that Lafayette basically gave him to their level of carte blanche. You can't go spend $10 million like Saban could.
Well, see, and that might be the problem at a Miami. Miami might say, hey, you can do it your way, but look, we don't really have the resources. We don't really care about football as much as we used to. So I don't know, but if I'm Billy Napier, I probably take this opportunity. I try to cash in on that bigger job, but I mean, that was a beatdown last night.
It was a beatdown. We're getting ready for a couple of division deciding games coming up this weekend. One of those is Kentucky and Georgia, where Georgia's hanging around still more than a 3-touchdown favorite at home in this battle of number 1 versus number 11. Rockstar, if you can give me Kirby Smart here, cut number 10 in our cut sheet here. Kirby now has to manage the locker room. They're number 1 in the country, and for them to have the season they want to have, they're going to be number 1 for a long, long time. Right, we're only halfway through the season. He's got to manage being number 1 for a while.
Did you know the last time they were number 1?
I think the last time they were number 1 was, hold on.
So they weren't one in 2017 at all?
I don't think so either.
They played for the national championship and never once hit number 1.
I think the last time they were number 1 was 20.
I don't think Rick ever had them number 1.
2007.
What do you think?
I mean, I think it may go back to the Dooley era.
No, you're close. 2008 preseason, they were the number 1 team.
Really?
Yeah.
2008.
Well, I don't
And I guess that was coming
off.
off the
Well, no, I do remember that because that was the blackout game, and you had Stafford and Noshawn Marino and A.J. Green. I mean, that looked like a dominant team. Yeah, that was the year of the Alabama blackout game.
Yeah, and Alabama beat them.
Yeah.
Here's Kirby Smart on managing now, being the number 1 team in the country.
It's just a number, right? I mean, I don't see a plateau, not a whole lot different plateau. The goal is to be number 1 at the end of the season. You always know that. Everybody's goal is there. But to have an opportunity to do that, you got to be in the 4. And that's the most critical part. So we won't get caught up in that, and we'll let you guys write about it. And that's not a burden we carry. The burden we carry is how we play.
Yeah, I like that answer there.
I'll give you. We'll say this about Kirby. You talk about rat poison, and buying into it and being flat, and looking, not looking to these trap games. They're not giving anybody an opportunity. I mean, they come out, they're not flat, and they beat everybody down immediately. So you got to give credit to Kirby that he's kept the focus at least through a half a season.
But there should not be a coach in America that is more equipped to deal with this than him. I mean, he saw it year after year after year after year in Tuscaloosa, dealing A, with high expectations, and B, when you actually meet those expectations and then you're expected to remain there all the time and everybody wants to talk about how great you are. I mean, he saw how Nick Saban dealt with that, right? So, I mean, there should be nobody more equipped to handle this than him.
Yeah. Isn't Brett correct? Wasn't Georgia number 1 at the prayer at Jordan Hare? Didn't Auburn beat number 1, then number 1 again?
I don't think so. I mean, the last time they were number 1 in the AP poll was the 2008 preseason poll. Okay. I mean, that's what I read this morning.
Yep. It seems like they had beaten number 1 and number 1 back then, but maybe they had not. It was a couple of big wins.
They were number 25 at the prayer at Jordan Hare. The year you're thinking of is 2017 Auburn. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you what they were. That was 2017 when Auburn.
Yeah. The first meeting of the two.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'll give you that ranking right now. Georgia was number 10 in that game.
Wow.
No, wait a minute. It says they're number 1. Auburn was number 10. It says Georgia was number 1. I don't know if it's AP or coaches.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lance.
Wherever you're reading this morning, we need to scratch through that.
Well, same notes. I also read this. You'll go ahead.
To his defense, that game was played November 25th. There is a or November 11th, I should say. There's a chance that was number 1 in the playoff rankings and maybe not AP number 1. There is that chance.
That is
I don't
a great
know.
point. Great point. we'll do some research on that. But Kirby Smart managing that now as the number one team in the AP poll. Later, the upset alert. Wimp Sanderson is standing by, though. Wimp, by the way, unbeaten through a 7-0 because he's done 6 regular season weeks in week 0. So Wimp is 7-0 with the Blue Plate Special. He is standing by on the other side. Part of our show today being brought to you by the great folks at Nut Dust.
Nut Dust, redefining the use and feel of body powder. Nut Dust is talc-free. It's an all-natural body powder. It's great for all over the body, the feet, below the belt. Available in 4 great scents: Naked, Voyager, Laddie, and Wildling. All day, every day. Our friends at Nut Dust, they've got you covered. Remember, go to officialnutdust.com. Put in fall as in the season, FALL. You're going to get a great discount on all of the Nut Dust you want, and also the great merchandise. Again, officialnutdust.com, put in fall.
Lincoln Riley, no starter named as Oklahoma, comes off the Big Red River and tries to manage now as a playoff contending team that controls their own destiny to get back there. But do they have a quarterback problem? Right now, Lincoln Riley says no. We've got 2, and I'm not going to tell you who the starter is going to be. We'll talk to Wimp about managing expectations next on the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Are you sick of leasing your life away? Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. Mortgage Right has the cure. With locations nationwide, our friends at Mortgage Right are dedicated to making the home buying process easy. They are eager to offer tips, tools, and a staff of industry professionals to move you in with confidence. So if you're ready to let go of the leasing life and start living life, Mortgage Right can help. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to get started. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Fall weather is the best time to be on the golf course, and Jerry Pate's design at Timberline will not disappoint. The course is in fantastic condition, and if you don't have time for a round of golf, come use Timberline's TrackMan driving range. You can practice, play games, and play virtual golf all on the practice tee. Come enjoy your day on one of Alabama's top 10 courses you can play. It's Timberline Golf Club. Timberline is easy to get to just off I-65 at exit 228. Book tee times online at timberlinegc.com. Tee it up at Timberline. If you owe back taxes and are looking for a way out, I've got the answer. This is Jim Dunaway, and I've seen what ignoring IRS tax problems can do. There is hope, and it starts by calling my friend Perry Cronin with Axiom Tax Resolution Group. Let me explain 2 things. 1, the IRS is starting to take the gloves off again post-pandemic. That means they are getting more aggressive with their collection efforts. Don't fall victim to liens and garnishments. Call Perry Cronin today. The second thing is this. Don't call some national 1-800 number. This is too important for you to be just some other number. Perry and his daughter Teresa Cronin are tax professionals right in our area. You'll meet with them face-to-face, and they'll give you a free consultation. Call 205-872-1100. That's 205-872-1100. Or the website, 205tax.com. Perry Cronin can show you there's hope when dealing with the IRS. Visit 205tax.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. I'm absolutely loving my Alfa Romeo Stelvio that I've been in for months now, and right now you can get up to $3,500 bonus cash plus 1.9% financing for 72 months on the all-new 2021 Alfa Romeo Giulias and the Stelvios at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. Come experience the passion and performance of Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo USA of Birmingham.com, 1837 Grants Mill Road, exit 27, right off of I-459.
That sound means someone got great advice. Always have a good plumber on standby. For me, that is Iron Mountain Drains and Plumbing. Jeremy Purvis and his team can handle commercial and residential plumbing needs, and they give you free quotes. 205-516-4927 or ironmountainworld.com. They handle all your plumbing and jetter services. They'll do everything from drips to new fixtures, and they are licensed, bonded, and insured. ironmountainworld.com. Just drain it.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters, it's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. And don't forget about that 29-degree man-sized drafts. It's Twin Peaks at the Patton Creek Shopping Centers. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
The Double Down Media Podcast family is live, including the Mystery Fifth Hour, a chance for the Next Round host to talk everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, the weekly college football conversation, while sipping some of the most interesting pours of bourbon in the world. And the Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call. Lance Taylor takes off the gloves for an in-depth conversation with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Back with you on the Next Round. You're watching on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter today. You're listening to us all over the place. Our app, Odyssey, maybe this morning, Spotify. You get our podcast there, and also Apple and Android download. We appreciate you so much. Wimp Sanderson coming up in just a second. Tonight, Legion FC, our local soccer club, with a huge game down at BBVA Field, 7 o'clock. You can get in for $5 with a promo code that we have for you, the Next Round viewers, right now. Just go to the website, bhmlegion.com, bhmlegion.com, and when you buy your ticket, the promo code is WIN, W-I-N, WIN, W-I-N. $5 ticket, general admission to get in tonight. If the Legion wins, 7 o'clock, if they win tonight, they lock up, for the first time in franchise history, a home playoff game. Wow. So tonight, BBVA Field Legion, bhmlegion.com, promo code WIN for a $5 ticket for all you Next Rounders.
All right, the coach, Wimp Sanderson, joins us now on the Pepsi Hotline. He's presented each week by our friends at CraneWorks, the rental works division of CraneWorks. How are you, Coach?
Well, I'm doing okay, guys. How are you?
Doing well, thanks a lot. I'll ask you a question. I was thinking about this yesterday when Lance asked Gene Chizik. He gave an answer. I'll be interested in your answer. Who's got a tougher job this week? Was it Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher you asked about?
It was me.
Was that you? Yeah. Was it Jimbo Saban? Jimbo Fisher?
Who's got a tougher job? Jimbo Fisher getting his guys back down, or Nick Saban getting his guys up?
So from a coaching perspective, who do you think has got the more difficult job?
Well, from a coaching perspective, it may be Jimbo. Nick will have his ready. Nick's got a pretty good playing point. We're fixed to play somebody that beat A&M. So that gets your attention pretty quickly.
How surprised going back to that game? I mean, Alabama came out flat. I mean, look, there were blown opportunities.
I'll give you the answer.
It's quick.
Go ahead.
We're 0 for 2 on finishing questions. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, the answer is safety. They don't have safety now. Alabama does. Their safety play is terrible. Excuse me, Lance. I'm sorry.
No, all good.
Their safety play is terrible, you say?
Yeah, safety play. Nobody talks about safety. They always talk about Pete Golden. Didn't make the running game at the goal line, all that kind of crap. Safety killed them. And pass defense, which Coach handles, and he's a great coach, was a big difference in that game. And Lance may be right. I agree with Lance. They weren't ready to play. I apologize for butting in.
Oh, we're kidding with you, Coach.
Okay. Whatever.
And I forgot who the player was after the game, Wimp. They came out, and it was one specific guy that said, hey, look, man, we practiced bad. We weren't ready. And, as a coach, when you hear things like that, I mean, I guess coach has got to take some of the responsibility, but, how are you not ready for a game like that?
Well, there wasn't a rant and rave too much by Coach. A little bit of a rant, but not much. And they just weren't ready to play. So it's not easy to get kids ready to play when they can read the papers and know this team has gotten beat by Mississippi State and Arkansas cracked them, and they've got a quarterback who can't play very well, and you're good, but they got killed on every aspect of it. They got killed with pass and rush. The defense changed a little bit by them, and what happened with from what I can gather from other people is that A&M bunched up they bunched their guys up in bunches for the pass. And when they bunched up, it confused the secondary of Alabama. And sometimes you can confuse the Alabama secondary in the past years, and the safety was so good he'd handle the confusion. And by bunching up the way they did, and I got this from somebody who knows a lot more about it than I do, it really confused Alabama, and they did some things defensively on the pass rush that hurt them a great deal. And you have a quarterback who's very good in Alabama. He's very good, and I wouldn't say anything bad about him. But we all know he doesn't want to run with the football much. He'd rather not. He doesn't much. And so they kind of key in on that. Not that he needs to start running with it. He doesn't. But I think those factors were the difference in the game.
It seems like there's a lot of things that was wrong with the team for you to be calling out just the safeties there. The pressure, the lack of pressure on the quarterback was amazing to me. And also the protection that the quarterback that you were just mentioning got was, it was a train wreck of offensive line blocking in that game. I know they ended up with 500 bazillion yards of offense, but you can't control the pace of the game if you can't block the other team. So the safeties may have been a problem, but I saw cornerback problems. I saw a lot of linebacker coverage problems. I saw the offensive line was a disaster at blocking at most of that game. It was enough blame to go around.
Jim, guess what, Jim?
What,
I
buddy?
would agree with you. I would agree with you.
It's a new day.
On both sides of the football, it was a poor game. I mentioned the safety because we don't talk about that much. We won't talk about the coaches. We won't talk about this and that and the other. The players play the game. You try to get them ready, and they weren't as ready to play. But I would totally, most of the time I don't agree with you.
Well, I do want to ask you though, and you coach. It's a different sport, so maybe it's not apples to apples here. But what causes a coaching staff, a play caller in this case, to sort of have sort of a DNA about how they call plays, a belief system, and then get into certain games and maybe get away from that belief system? What causes that to happen? On a coach's perspective, because the lack of trying to run the football in the red zone at certain points in that game, it seemed like it even frustrated Nick Saban as he went back and watched the tape and talked about it on Monday. What can cause a coach to sort of get away from his belief system in the course of maybe a week of preparation or in a game itself?
Well, I think it's past. I think what he's done in the past. You're trying to compare Bill to Texas's head coach a little bit. Those particular passes, not runs, cost Alabama the game? Maybe. But you've already indicated what they did poorly defensively, and I think it was just a bad game on both sides of the field. I don't have any idea the personality of. I think Bill O'Brien's a very good offensive coach. The mistakes were made. If they had gotten them in, you thought he was pretty smart.
Yeah, let me ask you. Let me put it this way then. Did you have a coach on your staff that would remind you in the course of a game to sort of get refocused, recentered, to remind you, hey, coach, remember we really wanted to match up zone here, or we really wanted to be man at this point. Did you have a guy that sort of reminded you, just in case you got caught up in the flow of the game, to remind you to get back to your center?
Yeah, good question. Atlanta, we play LSU in the finals. My coach punched me and said, "We need to get Jim Farmer out there. He didn't block out." And I said, "I ain't taking Jim Farmer out. He don't block out anybody."
Shut up and sit down.
It don't make a rat's rookie to me whether he blocked out or not. I ain't taking him out because Jim Farmer, although he missed 2 free throws to beat Auburn one time, I ain't gotten over that yet. Jim Farmer's going to make some baskets, and he did. Now, I'm not bragging about me being. I'm answering your question.
Right.
There were cases that my assistant coaches told me, and so needs to get out of there. He's got 2, and we don't want any 3. And I did it. But in that particular instance, I'll never forget. He said he didn't block out. I said, I don't give a rat's rookie whether he blocked out or not. He's staying in there. So there are times that you agree with your assistants and times that you don't. I don't know how much. My understanding for maybe a half of the offense is is substituted by the offensive coordinator. This is what I can gather. And on another half, the defense is substituted by the defense coordinator. I'm not sure how they. Alabama had some injuries. How they substitute. It'd be very interesting to me because I'm not a football guy. I keep up with it and try to study as much as I can, try to figure out who's going to win, who's going to lose. But I just think, as I've said 3 times on this show, I just think it was a poor job. The kids weren't ready to play, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can talk all you want to, you can't get them ready to play because the quarterback has not been very good, and he was great.
The coach went.
By the way, while y'all were talking baseball, you mentioned Jim Tony Kubek yesterday.
I did, yeah, 86 years old.
Great player for the Yankees. None of you remember in 1957 when Gil McDougall of the Yankees hit the greatest pitcher that Cleveland ever had. Herb Score was the greatest pitcher in the history of Cleveland Indians. Hit him in the eye with a line drive, and he never got back like it was. I want y'all to know I knew that.
Were you watching that game?
I don't remember if I watched that game or not. I graduated from high school in '55, and I was back. I may have been at Carbon Hill. I can't remember where I was in '57. I went to Alabama in '60. But Herb Score was, and Gil McDougall. They say Gil McDougall lost his hearing because he was hit in the ear at batting practice. I'm giving you a bunch of baseball crap.
It was a different game back then.
When you mentioned Tony Kubek, he was a great player for the Yankees back in the 50s. I know it's way ahead of y'all, but I had it on my mind. I want to say it.
Yeah, but
didn't
Kubek have some kind of injury that shortened his career too? Didn't a bad bounce
or
something?
In fact, I had thought that Tony was the one that hit Herb Score, and I went back, tried to look it up, and the best I could tell, I don't know how to do it as well as Brownie does. He can look up stuff a lot quicker than me.
What am I looking up?
I think they said Gil McDougall, so I don't really know. Let me tell you one other thing about games, because I got.
Hey, can I real quick just say, Coach is presented by CraneWorks, the rental works division of CraneWorks, and he's with us on the Pepsi hotline. Go ahead, Coach. And the blue plate is coming up right after he tells us this. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, the blue plate's going to be long and confusing. I hope Lance will listen in. Can y'all hear me?
All right. What just happened? Something just happened. Your phone. There you go. All right, you're good now.
They try to get rid of me, I guess.
Okay. All right. So, Coach, tell us one more thing.
One thing I want to say about Georgia. We're going to talk about defense all you want to, and Jim brought this point out about Alabama. I'm telling you right now, Georgia blocks. These guys will block you. Now, I know they're big and strong and physical, but we talk about the defense all the time, and I don't know if the quarterback's any good or not. He wasn't too bad against Auburn. Auburn's, questionable, and the new quarterback is not, just great, I don't guess. But I'm telling you, folks, this cotton picking, I watched them. This Georgia team blocks you, boy. Mm-hmm. They get those running backs through the holes about as good as anybody I've seen. Okay.
All right. So he's the coach, Wimp Sanderson. He joins us each week on the Pepsi Hotline, courtesy of the Rental Works division of CraneWorks. Rockstar, do you have a long and confusing song for a long and confusing blue plate by chance?
Let's try this.
All right, here we go.
Blue plate special, sitting in a mayonnaise jar on Sonny Smith's porch.
All right, he is absolutely undefeated. He has not had a bad
Can I
pick.
say this one thing? Is it long and confusing because it was so difficult to come up with a pick this week?
It was.
Yeah.
Let me give you the four. Let me give you the 4 picks I had.
All right, we've all written down who we think you're going with.
We've all written down who we think you're going with.
I thought a great pick was Michigan State at Indiana.
Okay.
I just thought that was great. It's 3 points, Indiana. Mm-hmm. I thought a great pick was Texas and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Texas favored 5 in that at home.
Yeah, I thought a great pick because I have some people on that know pretty well Florida and LSU.
Yep, that's mine right here. I had you at Florida 10.5.
I had Florida too.
Yeah,
that was my call. Oh, you wrote it down too, Lance.
And I thought a great pick was Cincinnati and Central Florida, but what they did was they took it from 16 until last night 21.
Oh my gosh, it jumped up.
And
last
I'm
night.
scared, it scared me off.
Vegas knows something.
Until last night when I was watching the Louisiana game, I said I'm just settled on this. I'm going to take it. And I looked at that Booger Bear and it's 21. And I couldn't do it. So I don't know who of those 4 to take.
I had Cincinnati circle too.
Yeah, so Lance thought you were either going Florida or Cincinnati.
Yeah, there's two more I've got on there. 2 more power plays.
Jim still has not unveiled his.
Well, I didn't have Florida and LSU until today, this morning.
Okay. So who are you going with?
And Michigan State and Indiana. I like that, but you guys didn't make much move on that one.
Go with your gut, man. Go with your gut.
You've been red hot. I'd go with your gut.
7-0.
What you doing?
Go with what you know.
I'm going with Texas.
He's going with the Hook'em Horns. Dunaway? Who did you pick? Alabama. Wimp never goes Alabama.
I had Alabama on the list, too.
Did you really?
Yeah, I just thought that Wimp might think that Alabama, based on the bad performance, that they typically come out and play extremely well.
Yeah.
All right, so Texas
I'm scared
-5.
of Alabama. I should have said Florida at Georgia. Florida at LSU, I mean.
Yeah, so Lance and I
Texas is 4.5.
No, it's
I got it at
5.5.
5, but as you
It's
know,
5.5.
we're going to give it to you wherever it is Friday. Which, I mean, I don't want to complicate this anymore, but Texas. I mean, you're 7-0.
Well, I'll go with Texas because I have a feeling they fight like ridiculous to get them back right, and I know they're playing a good team in Oklahoma State.
Yep, they are. So Coach is 7-0. His official pick is Texas right now -5. We'll try to let you know where it ends. The Coach Wimp Sanderson joins us each week on the Pepsi Hotline, courtesy of
Are y'all on a time
CraneWorks.
schedule?
We are.
Are y'all on time?
Yep.
No, I mean, we can do whatever.
I'm sorry if y'all on a time
No,
schedule.
you're fine.
You have a new guest?
Well, at the top of the hour, we do. We got to do another segment before then, though. You've got plenty of time to tell us.
CraneWorks.
There you go.
CraneWorks with David Upton, who is my friend and experts at CraneWorks can do anything in the world to help you. They got great salesmen there. They got great equipment operators. They know how to handle any project that needs to be handled. They've got divisions of CraneWorks is everything from chainsaws to skid steers. You can call Chip Howard, or you can get on. Actually, you can get on CraneWorks.com. It's a lot better to get on there. And if you need some help, they will help you, and they'll do a great job for you. I'm sorry I ran y'all over.
You didn't.
You
Coach.
did not.
You're perfectly fine.
I just
right
kind of jumped around today.
Well, you did, but we like that. All right.
Okay.
We'll let you know what the number is, Coach. Have a great week. All right, love you. All right, that's the Coach Wimp Sanderson.
Heavy hang up.
On the Pepsi. No love
wait a
at
second.
all.
That hang up.
That's a landline.
Yeah, that was a land. That was a
You didn't
hardcore
hear somebody
phone.
else pick it up while he was on right there?
You had a
That's what
party
happened.
line going?
Yeah, no, somebody else in the house picked up the landline to make a call. That's
Hey,
all
Ned,
it
I'm doing my segment.
Hey,
Hang
Ned,
that up.
you know it's a blue plate time.
I thought I heard a
Sorry.
vacuum in the background.
Well, I think Annette, somebody was probably vacuuming. She picked up to make a phone call and realized Wimp was doing his segment.
I thought it was a train.
Well, could have been. Nothing stops him.
Always sounds like a train.
I don't love Texas in this spot. Now,
I didn't like that either.
Again, doubting Wimp. He's been on fire.
7-0,
Think about it
Lance.
like this. So Texas is coming off their worst meltdown in the program's history, their biggest blown lead ever. Now they're taking on an Oklahoma State team that plays really good defense, coming off a bye.
Yeah, speaking of having to get a team back together, Sark's got his work cut out this week.
And not that Spencer Sanders is a great quarterback, but he's an experienced quarterback. And that was a really good game last year.
Yep.
Where Texas won late.
And right now they're playing at a pace that is not usual Oklahoma State pace. They're slowing it down a little bit, playing to their defense. Can be frustrating for the Longhorns. We'll see if Wimp hits that blue plate. He's 7-0. Part of our show today being brought to you by our friends at Michelson.
Hey, to find out if LASIK is right for you, you need to make this phone call to Michelson Laser Vision, 205-969-8100. Hassle-free consultation. If you've worn the contacts, the eyeglasses for years, now is the time to stop procrastinating. Do what I did. I have 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the call today. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision truly changed my life. Could possibly do the same for you. Call today, 969-8100, or online, MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Matt Wyatt joins us from the state of Mississippi at the top of the hour. But in our next segment, Mike Leach on eliminating some of the noise with Alabama coming to Starkville next on the next round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
How do you know you're in a community, not just a town? Well, strangers smile as they walk by. They refill your coffee without you asking. And when you ask directions, people offer to walk you there. Communities give more. The way you know when you walk into First Bank that you are in a real community bank. Great products, direct access to your local bankers, and relationships that can last a lifetime. Don't just have an account. Have a community with First Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive. 4 great locations right here in Birmingham. The team at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, they feel it's important for you to know they don't employ any salespeople or technicians that are incentivized with your commissions. When you are getting your vehicle serviced, the team is only incentivized to take care of you and your vehicle. That doesn't happen everywhere, but it does happen at Vulcan Tire and Automotive. Again, 4 locations right here in Birmingham, Hoover, Moody, Trussville, and Gardendale. For more information, Vulcan Tire and Auto.com.
There are few things in life more important than getting a good night's sleep. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. I learned that after going to Sleep Outfitters and getting my sleep outfitting. What is an outfitting, you might ask? Well, I simply went to the Sleep Outfitters off Highway 280, sat down and answered just a few short questions, and in moments, they had me laying on a mattress in the store so I could pick it out myself. The delivery was so easy. They set it up right there in my home, and I have an amazing night's sleep every night, and my life is better because of it. You can get that same night's sleep by finding a location at sleepoutfitters.com. And right now, you could win a $1,000 MasterCard gift card from Sleep Outfitters. This is a special sweepstakes, and it is just for our listeners. So go to sleepoutfitters.com/Ryan to enter. That's sleepoutfitters.com/Ryan. This is exclusive to the Next Round audience, so go try to win. Discover more about Sleep Outfitters and how they can help you complete your personal sleep profile, and you can start sleeping better too, and you can sleep with a $1,000 MasterCard gift card in your pocket now. sleepoutfitters.com/Ryan.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
TruckWorks is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Next Round's 9 o'clock hour. With locations in Alabama, Mississippi, and the Florida Panhandle, there's a job opportunity for you, no matter where you're located. Visit truckworks.com and click the Join Our Team tab today for more information.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at HydroLife Therapy. Boost your immune system today with HydroLife Therapy. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service at the Birmingham and Tuscaloosa locations. If you're unable to make it to HydroLife, a nurse can actually come to your home or office. You can visit them online today, hydrolifetherapy.com. HydroLife Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood 9 to 6 and Tuscaloosa 10 to 6. The Next Round is proud to partner with our friends at Taco Mama to support local Alabama startups. Taco Mama is celebrating their 10th anniversary, and as part of this celebration, Taco Mama wants to give back to startups that are trying to build their new business and live out their dreams. As part of this promotion, Taco Mama and the Next Round wants you to send us a 90-second or less video telling us a little bit about your startup. The Next Round will select multiple winners, and they will receive a taco bar compliments of our friends at Taco Mama, and one lucky startup will receive 1 month's free advertising thanks to our friends at Taco Mama. Taco Mama knows how difficult these first steps are, and they want to support local startups and make their journey just a little bit easier. Really simple. Email us that 90-second video or less, staff@nextroundlive.com. That's staff@nextroundlive.com. Again, Taco Mama celebrating their 10th anniversary, and as part of this celebration, they want to give back to startups trying to build their new businesses throughout the state of Alabama.
Anheuser-Busch wants every experience for you around beer to be a good one. And getting home safely is always a priority. So encourage friends to decide to ride, whether it's by being the designated driver, calling an Uber, or taking public transit. You cannot drive drunk if you don't drive there. This message is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, Uber, Birmingham Budweiser, and the Next Round. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Next Round, back with you today. We're about to hear from Mike Leach, Alabama heading to Starkville. I'll be over for that game. Love going over there. I will tell you, Mike Leach's team is rolling along pretty good after wins over LSU, Texas A&M, and now a bye week to prepare for the Tide. But, of course, last year it was 41-0 over in Tuscaloosa. Alabama solved Mike Leach's offense pretty easily. We'll see what's in store this week. It's part of our Greystone Chiropractic Look Ahead, brought to you by our friends at Greystone.
That's Dr. Lee Goldenberg. They're off Highway 280, 119 Tattersall Park, the premier family wellness office in Birmingham, voted best of Birmingham 3 years in a row. you can go get your spine properly aligned and help your entire body by doing it. Greystone Chiropractor, GreystoneChiropractor.com, or 205-981-8090 for an appointment, 205-981-8090 for Greystone Chiropractor.
A couple of games for Will Rogers, over 400 passing yards in the SEC so far. That's he'll challenge that secondary that you heard Wimp just talking about. Mike Leach talking about the mentality of sort of eliminating the noise and eliminating the mistakes and eliminating this and that as he talked about the tide rolling to town.
You know, if you can just go there and be the best self, your best self that you can, and just lock into your job and do it the best you can, and don't get distracted by, you know, what might happen. You know, sometime on Saturday, just turn on the game and, you know, there's some player comes frantically to the sideline, you know, okay, they did this, they did, you know, like, okay, you know, they did this, and then, you know, the cheerleader ran around the stadium 3 times, and then the Shetland pony came out and ate a hot dog on the 50-yard line, so then now what do I do? You know, I mean, you know, I mean, you got to eliminate all the clutter and just focus on what counts. And then the other thing is you got to trust the guy next to you to do the same thing.
Eliminate all the clutter. That's all he talks is clutter.
I know. He is clutter.
He is clutter.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Will Rogers is playing extremely well. He's completed 76% of his passes, 14 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. They cannot run the football, and they give up big plays through the air.
Yeah.
That's, you know, this Mississippi State defense, Zach Arnett's done a really good job with it, but they still give up big plays, and I think that's where Alabama is going to take advantage of this State defense.
With State, fluky as it might have been, I cannot get past the fact that they lost to Memphis and they lost to LSU. Memphis, who was winless in conference, and LSU, their only conference win is Mississippi State.
Yeah, I'll point out they could be 5-0 easily, but they could also be 1-4 because they could have easily lost that A&M game.
It's hard to get past. I mean, I think State's better than they were last year, and I think Leach has it headed in the right direction. I think Will Rogers has done good things, but it's hard to get past those 2 outcomes for me when I evaluate Mississippi State.
Yeah, so the difference between the way they played against LSU and the way they played against Texas A&M, we'll see what team shows up for the Bulldogs this week. For Alabama, with all their troubles, am I right about this? They had 522 yards of offense in College Station.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Outgained A&M by about 150 yards.
Yeah.
And I mean, credit to Bryce.
522 to 379.
I mean, credit to Bryce Young for that, because we've talked about it. Everyone watched the game. The blocking was not there for that game, and he was doing a lot of that, dodging bullets and avoiding it, and then throwing a pass that oftentimes were dropped.
I still think he was, if we're just ranking him by game, and I know it was a loss, so it's easy to do it like this, I think he was a little off as well, though.
Yeah, Bryce Young?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so, too.
Yeah, his accuracy was a little off.
But
I can't wait to talk to Mechie tomorrow when he joins us around 12 noon tomorrow to see if the win was a factor, because I'm watching on TV. I wasn't at that game. But watching on TV, the flags were pretty straight out, man. It seemed like it was a pretty gusty night there on the plains of Texas.
You know, it's funny. We talked about Bryce Young being off a little bit, and I agree he was. But being off, he was still 28 of 48, which is way low for his completion percentage, obviously. But still threw for 369 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that is – and listen, the pick there, that cost you points. Those are inexcusable picks. You cannot throw a pick in your own end zone. But even if he's off and he's still throwing for 369 and 3 TDs – yeah, I think you got yourself a pretty good quarterback there.
What you usually get after Texas A&M upsets Alabama, big recruiting opportunity, big announcement coming from 5-star Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, double name at the end, Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, choosing between Texas A&M and Oklahoma. Right after that big win over Alabama, he chooses Oklahoma.
Wow.
Oklahoma had a big win too.
Yeah, that's true.
And if he was in Dallas with that atmosphere, I mean, I'm sure both atmospheres were great, but boy, just watching that second half unfold.
5-star defensive lineman picking Oklahoma, which is still odd for me to see, but Alex Grinch doing it on the recruiting trail. All right, approaching the top of the hour here, we'll talk more about Bama and State coming up over with Matt Wyatt when he joins us on the other side of the top of the hour. Brought to you in part today by our friends at Mortgage Right. Mortgage anywhere in America with our great friends at Mortgage Right. They'll take care of you.
Hey, there is no place like home, and nobody knows that better than our friends at Mortgage Right. With locations nationwide, they are the perfect matchmaker to connect you with the home of your dreams. Mortgage Right's team of skilled professionals has the skills and knowledge to move you in with confidence. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to start that home buying journey today. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Wake Forest, SMU, all ranked teams who have the weekend off, especially right there in the clump at 6, 7, 8 in the rankings of Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. Seeing those guys without games this week, a little lax in the schedule right there for the Big Ten.
Well,
wow.
we're not going to be able to set that record. I think we've got 40 ranked teams have already lost through 6 weeks, and I think the record is 47 through 7. I don't think we're going to have 7 ranked teams lose this weekend with all those out.
Just for TV purposes, how does the Big Ten do a schedule where Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan are all off the same Saturday?
The Big Ten Network's like, what are you doing to us?
I mean, really, that's your 3 biggest draws in that
What do
conference.
we have on the Big Ten Network?
Probably crap.
Yeah, I don't even think they have an early game. I think they go.
Yeah, they do. Rutgers Northwestern.
That's crap.
There you
that
go.
That would qualify.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That would be the Dave Neal of the Big Ten game there. All right. We'll talk to Wyatt next from over in Starkville. He'll join us about what he has seen from this Mississippi State team so far this year and what he thinks about the Tide rolling to town. All that and more with you as you can call into the Pepsi hotline after we talk to Matt, 205-734-0923, 205-734-0923. It's the next round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It's the will to prepare to win." Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that's right for you. Stop by one of the 7 Central Alabama locations today or give them a call at 1-855-4-BRYANT to begin preparing for your financial future today. You'll find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about. Bryant Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
ERA King real estate agents are out there every day working hard to make home buying easy. I'm Jim Dunaway, and I know firsthand ERA King's commitment is to support them with the most innovative training and technology available. So even though home values may change, ERA King agents stay priceless. Text the word MOVE to 35260. That's 35260 to get started. ERA King, working hard to make home buying easy.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at HydroLife Therapy. Boost your immune system today with HydroLife Therapy. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. Mention next round at checkout. Save 20% off any service at the Birmingham and Tuscaloosa locations. If you're unable to make it to HydroLife, a nurse can actually come to your home or office. You can visit them online today, hydrolifetherapy.com. HydroLife Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood 9 to 6 and Tuscaloosa 10 to 6.
Stay up to date with the next round on the website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos from the show, plus podcasts like The Mystery Fifth Hour, Bama and Bourbon, Last Call, and others from our Double Down Media podcast family. You can start your day with the latest college football stories, plus easy to listen to hour-by-hour downloads of the live show. Nextroundlive.com, a great way to stream the show live or shop in the Next Round store. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage. That's nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Wayne's, headquartered in Birmingham. They are committed to providing world-class service every time since 1973, serving over 100,000 families from businesses across SEC country, from Tuscaloosa to Auburn and Nashville to Knoxville, providing residential and commercial termite protection, pest prevention, mosquito control, and lawn care services. Put in promo code TNR for $60 off your initial EnviroPest service, 866-WAYNES1.
How do you know you're in a community, not just a town? Well, strangers smile as they walk by. They refill your coffee without you asking. And when you ask directions, people offer to walk you there. Communities give more. The way you know when you walk into First Bank that you are in a real community bank. Great products, direct access to your local bankers, and relationships that can last a lifetime. Don't just have an account. Have a community with First Bank. Member FDIC.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, for the best pizza in Birmingham for lunch or dinner, make it Slice. Go see the Bajalia brothers, Jeff, Jason, and Chris. Slice Pizza and Brew is as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. 2 great locations, Lakeview and Vestavia.
TruckWorks is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the next round's 9 o'clock hour. With locations in Alabama, Mississippi, and the Florida Panhandle, there's a job opportunity for you, no matter where you're located. Visit truckworks.com and click the Join Our Team tab today for more information.
Want more of the Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, the Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. As you guys know, the team at Hump Services are my go-to guys for all things heating and cooling. Recently, a unit went out in the house. Of course, Hemp Hill were the guys I called. Always professional, always courteous. Hemp Hill Services, they've been serving Birmingham since 1954. They're who Birmingham trusts. They're who I trust to do the job right and at a fair price. Hemp Hill Services, independent train dealer, and they service all makes and models for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Do what I do. Call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. Do it now. 205-229-2090. That's 229-2090.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Braves eliminate the Brewers. Freddie Freeman with a big hit yesterday. Lincoln Riley doesn't name a starter. Louisiana beat App State last night handily in the Sun Belt. No football tonight, no baseball tonight. Dodgers and Giants tomorrow night. Another NFL weekend cranks up tomorrow night. And we've got the Legion FC, our local soccer club tonight, 7 o'clock, BBVA Field. $5 with the Next Round promo code WIN, $5 ticket to get in. A win by the Legion tonight, 7 o'clock kick time. They will host a playoff game for the first time in franchise history.
Matt Wyatt is coming up. One thing he knows about is being outdoors. He's a big fisherman. Camping and outdoor equipment, clothing and footwear, all your outdoor activities. You get it at Nichols Outfitters in Pelham. Great prices for the brands you know and trust. Always be prepared with Nichols Outfitters off exit 242 on I-65 there in Pelham. In-store, online, nicholsoutfitters.com. The former Mississippi State quarterback, now analyst and radio host and media mogul in the state of Mississippi, is with us now on the Pepsi Hotline. What's up, Matt Wyatt? How are you?
Boys, how are y'all doing? Good to hear your voices.
Yeah, good to see you. We saw it in our preview screen. Listeners couldn't see the big fist pump you gave when Dunaway gave the Braves win. We were talking about Freddie Freeman. I maintain he's the third best position player in Braves history, or third, most well-liked, whatever, behind Henry Aaron and Chipper Jones.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. And honestly, too, Ryan, I think sometimes, depending on the age of the person that you present that to,
right?
You get different answers. But, yeah, I think you got a nice little historical perspective going there. I think you're nailing it. Man, that was a cool deal last night, watching that. Now, who you going to face? I'm kind of pulling for the Giants just because I hate the Dodgers, but I think the Giants are better. I mean, you're up against it either way, for sure, but just glad to be there.
Okay, so coming into this Mississippi State-Alabama game, Will Rogers has been really good. I mean, we were talking about the numbers. He's completing 76% of his passes. He's only thrown 2 picks, but this offense is so one-dimensional. Running backs are averaging about 14 carries per game, and when you're going against an Alabama defense, although it didn't look good last week against A&M, when you're this one-dimensional, that can cause some problems.
Yeah, I think it can. If you weren't using those running backs at all, it's really a problem. Now, just like you're saying, Lance, I mean, a lot of folks, will point to it and go, well, it's still a problem even now. But what I point to is Mike Leach has never really made any bones about this. His idea of balance is not run-pass. His famous quote was, people who think balance is 50% run, 50% pass, he said, I think that's about 50% stupid. Okay, that was his quote. And he explained it this way. He said, I think balance is everybody touches the ball. meaning anybody who can get the football, we get it to all of them pretty equally, depending on what you do. You can't just forget. So when you look at it, if that's the way he's looking at it, think of it this way. I think you've got, 3 receivers at State that are in the top 5 or 6 in the SEC in catches right now. Well, the second and third are the 2 running backs. Okay, their leading receiver is the outside guy, Mekhi Polk, who transferred in from Cal, who's really good, by the way. But their number 2, number 3 receivers are the 2 running backs. So the offense, like people that have watched them, the offense is kind of going through the running back position. It's just you're not handing it to them very much unless Will Rogers checks to a run play at the line of scrimmage. There are very few run calls that come in from the sideline. Will's got to check to it. He's checking to a few more because he's doing a better job. He's getting experience. But they throw it to him a ton. That's actually been a frustrating thing for State's fans because they're, early on, like if you check it down to a running back and it's too late, well, he catches it at 2 yards and just gets blown up by a linebacker coming downhill, right? Well, it's starting to look a little better. They're catching the check downs a little more space and making runs like extended handoff stuff. So anyway, that's the explanation from a Mississippi State perspective, Lance, in that they're not interested in running the ball unless you give it to them and then they'll do it.
I'm interested as a guy who played the game. You mentally from Mississippi State, seeing Alabama lose last week to a team you beat, does that help you? Or is there some concern about the stat that Alabama hasn't lost back-to-back regular season games since 2007 when these kids were basically in diapers? I mean,
right.
Where are you mentally if you're State seeing what happened in College Station?
I think, go back to something Mike Leach said. Again, he said this on Monday. He said, if we are relaxing against the University of Alabama, then we're the dumbest team in all of college football. That's what he said on Monday. I think that's what it is, they lost this past week. You're going to get their dead level best effort this week. You just know it, right? So that's what you're up against. And the other thing, too, is you have to sometimes pragmatically, Jim, like I just look at it and go, well, how much does it matter? Okay, because, listen, Alabama should in no way lose this ball game. There's nothing you could point to that says Alabama. It really even ought to be a competition, right? Like there's nothing you can point to. I'm not pouring water on the debate. I'm just saying, is it players? Well, if we look at players, like you and I have talked before, Alabama's roster is on one side of the Grand Canyon and State's is on the other. I was looking at the numbers the other day. Alabama, the last 3 years in their signing classes in 19, 20, and 21. You can't go back 4 signing classes because those guys in 2018 at Alabama, they're in the NFL. All right, so 19, 20, and 21, they've signed a combined 4 and 5 stars, 70 of those. 74 and 5-star players they've signed 2019, 2021. You know, Mississippi State, how many they've signed in that same time frame? 16. All right, 16 4 and 5-star players on one roster, 70 on the other in the last 3 classes. This ain't supposed to be a competition. So then what is it? Well, you go, how did they lose to A&M? Well, they lost the line of scrimmage. Their quarterback got hit, and they didn't hit the other quarterback. So that's where it all goes to me. It's like I'm looking past the 4 and 5 stars and going, line of scrimmage, Jim. And I think Mississippi State has gotten better and better and better every week on the line of scrimmage. It kind of started against LSU on their offensive line where they had a really good game against a team that pass rushes really well. 2 weeks ago against A&M when State went in there and beat them, Will Rogers' jersey didn't even get dirty. Like the only time he touched the ground all night, it seemed like, was when he scrambled once and he slid. Meanwhile, State's defense, they are a pressure defense. They play the run on the way to the quarterback. They hit Calzada. They sacked him on 3rd down twice in the red zone and then forced him into mistakes. That's what Alabama didn't do against A&M. Alabama lost the line of scrimmage against A&M. So I think when you look really close, I think State knows what they're up against. They know nobody's giving them a chance. But I think they're pretty confident in what they are on the line of scrimmage or what they're becoming on the line of scrimmage, and they're hopeful they can hang in the ball game.
Matt Wyatt is with us, former Mississippi State quarterback, now analyst with Mississippi State Radio, does a great show there in the state of Mississippi as well, at Radio Wyatt on Twitter if you want to follow him there, at Radio Wyatt. The numbers, and Matt is with us, by the way, on the Pepsi hotline. The numbers tell me Zach Arnett's defense is better this year. Is it significantly better or just marginally better?
Yeah, no, I think it's better because they're a little older,
yeah,
Ryan. And they, I tell you, they've given up a few explosive plays in the pass game, but that's kind of the way they're willing to give up plays. They're not really willing to give up explosive plays in a run game. So when I look at it and go, compared to last year, I still think they're a little better, even though they've had a bust or two in pass coverage a couple of times, but it hadn't been anything major. You just look at them and, man, first of all, their personnel on defense at State's a little better than I think people realized coming into the year. They do have legitimately two starting corners that are both going to play NFL football. People are starting to just kind of stay away from Martin Emerson. Now, that won't be the case with Alabama. They'll challenge him, but, that's two guys, he and Forbes. They have 2-3 guys in their defensive front seven that are going to be playing NFL football real soon. 2 defensive tackles, and Crumity and Pickering, a linebacker / rush guy who weighs 260 pounds in Tyrus Wheat, who's really physical. They've got players. And their personnel fits what Zach Arnett wants to do, right? Which is we're going to play the run on the way to the quarterback. State is giving up less than 100 yards rushing a game. They're one of 3 SEC teams who are doing that at this point. And pretty much every week, every game under Zach Arnett, Ryan, this is what they're doing. They're saying, if you beat us throwing the ball against our man-to-man back here, we'll congratulate you after the game, but we're not willing to let you beat us running the ball. That's kind of been their MO. And some teams have done it. Like last year against Georgia, they went over there in Athens last year and held Georgia to 8 yards rushing. But JT Daniels hit about 4 big throws down the field and threw for 400 yards and beat State 27-21. It hadn't always worked, but they are intent on hitting the other guy. And I think especially with a young quarterback who they're facing, who the only way anybody's forced any mistakes out of Bryce Young has been with a little pressure. They're going to try it again Saturday night for sure.
Well, Alabama struggled on the road, Matt. I don't know if people realize this. In their 2 road games in Gainesville and College Station, they've actually been outscored in those 2 games. What do you expect from this crowd Saturday night?
Yeah, it's going to be a heck of an atmosphere. It really will, Lance, because, listen, State, they've had all these 11 a.m. games this year, State fans got really spoiled there for a few years at the end of Dan Mullen's run because you had Dak and then you had Fitzgerald, and so you were getting a lot of these 6 p.m. kickoffs at home, and this year, last day, didn't get many of that, and so you've had some 3 o'clocks and some 11s. This is going to be your first conference home game at 6 p.m. and it's after an open date, and it's Alabama. So anybody that's going to come to a game this year, they're coming to this one, right? And it's going to be your first time that you'll have a full campus from a tailgating perspective. So it'll be a big-time atmosphere. And so, part of it for Alabama, they know this when they get on the bus to come over there. Part of their charge is to get off to a fast start to take State's crowd out of it, because I can tell you, y'all been there. You put 61,000 in there with cowbells, it'll sound like 100,000 if you give them a reason. And so Alabama's job is to take them out of it.
Yeah, you don't want it to be a close game when they're playing Journey late in that game. It gets intense over there. I'm coming over. I'm looking forward to it.
Great.
Let me add. Is there a chance they're going to, because this is what I would do if I was them, is there a chance they're going to honor the national championship baseball team during a timeout early in the game? Or are they going to have them on the field and give them rings or something?
They might decide to call an audible and do that Saturday night after Coach Brad Bohannon's recent comments on the, Eli Gold show over there. I'm kidding. Brad's a great guy. He did stir him up a little bit because he said the only reason to go to Start was to play sports. And I thought, well, maybe he's right, but they're not going to do it Saturday night that I know of. I think the plan has been for the Kentucky game when they host Kentucky, because I was talking to Chris Lamonis, the baseball coach, and I asked him. I said, hey, when you going to turn the page on this thing and stop celebrating and make sure you're now moving to the next team? And he said, we're going to do it at the ring ceremony at Davis Wade Stadium during the Kentucky football game. So that's how I know when they're planning it. It's going to be when Kentucky rolls in there in a few more weeks.
Makes no sense. This would have been the week to do it. If I was doing it, packed house, prime time, I would have rolled it out there. Joe Tess would have gone way over the top during the timeout, and he would have made it sound intense. But, hey, I don't run State's program for him.
That's good for State, actually.
Yeah, if you, I can hook you up though. If you want to talk to John Cohen, they may have an opening.
I want no part of it.
You don't want Dunaway's hands when it's going too well right now for you. All right, he is Matt Wyatt. Go follow him on Twitter at Radio Wyatt. Listen to his show over in the state of Mississippi. Does some great video work there. Follow him on Twitter, and you'll see all of that. And he's with the Mississippi State Network as well. Matt, it's always fun, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. You too. Matt Wyatt with us on the Pepsi Hotline.
That would be a fun game to go to. When did you are you going with CBS?
I've got to do some work over there, yeah. But I don't get to do some work over there. Looking forward to going over. Got a lot of friends who are State fans, the Fullers and the Elliots. Get a chance to see them, the Andersons. Couple tailgates.
Are these the Jello shots?
Leeches?
Are the immersed gummy bears for 48 hours in vodka?
Yeah, this is where I met Austin Riley, the great Atlanta Brave, who
he won't be there this time.
Who brought he will not. Who brought the vodka or pure grain alcohol soaked gummies.
Well, if you're a Alabama fan and a /Braves fan,
it's a tough one.
It's tough because NLCS starts Saturday night.
Well, I think you got to go Alabama, though. There'll be 6 NLCS games. There's only one, or 7 maybe. There'll be only one. There'll be 6 more potentially, that's what I was going to say. There's only one Alabama-Mississippi State game. You go Bama there, right?
I usually tend to go college football.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Yeah, college football all the way. I'll tell you a story about that weekend and the Gummy Bears. I have a firm belief system that my friend lured us into a bad situation, and I got the greatest line from a kid I watched grow up in our church, and I'll tell you about that after LT tells us about the great folks right there with Nut Dust. Excuse me, no, gutter cap. My bad.
All good.
Yeah.
Platinum aluminum cover system. It fits over most existing gutters. Keep out that debris. Eliminate the gutter cleaning forever. One of the most dangerous, dirty jobs around the house is getting out the ladder, get on the roof. You don't want to fall, snap the neck, and die. No good there. Cap it. Don't snap it. 45% off the retail price from our good friend Chris Stewart right now. 823-2212. That's 823-2212. Or go online, guttercapbirmingham.com.
My friend Bob and he takes me to the lake, his lake house a lot, and we roll around. He's a State grad, so I go to his tailgate, and that's where Austin Riley is. So I'm not working that day. It was when I was out of the television, had no radio assignment, so I'm just over enjoying the day. I think they were playing Auburn. So I've hit a couple of the gummy bears that are soaked in pure grain alcohol or vodka, whatever it's soaked in, drank a couple of cocktails, walked around, toured the campus, rang the bell, walked down to the Cotton District, whatever it is down there, partying.
How many times did you throw up?
Didn't throw up at all. Okay, but then, so the game happens. We're in low seating. It's really good. It's all fantastic. Free food, free drinks. Walked down, more parties afterwards. He had gone to some fraternity. He was a fraternity man at Mississippi State. And he's, let's go by our fraternity house. And they've got a band. And I was like, Bob, I mean, look how old I am. Look how old you are.
They'll know I'm not a member.
Why are we going? He goes, that's what at State, the alumni are always welcome back. You just give them the name at the door and they'll let us in. So we walk in, and I mean, it has to be 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, a band party going on at a frat house. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But sure enough, they've got a door person. Bob, flashes the secret signs or whatever, and we walk in. So we walk in, and Rob, who's this kid, Rob Fuller, had grown up in our church. I'd watched him from when he was 6. He's now a fraternity member of this fraternity. And Bob sees Rob up there with a couple of girls, and they're watching the band. And Bob, I'm staying way in the back. I'm uncomfortable. Do not want to be there.
Bob wants an introduction at this point.
Very awkward.
Bob walks up to Rob. Bob come walking back, and Rob gives the greatest line of all time. A very polite young man who's in medical school right now. Polite young man. And we've been inside like 4 minutes. Rob walks Bob back away from the crowd, puts his arm around both of us and said, hey, man, appreciate you guys coming by. Can I get you guys a beer for the road? And I was like, you sure can, Rob. And I've bragged about.
What did Bob think about that?
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. We'll take one.
That is fantastic.
I thought that was a great line. A great way of saying, get the heck out of here, man.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Can I get you guys a beer for the road?
Beer for the road?
Yeah. Oh, we just got here, but thank you. Yes.
Exactly. I don't know if you saw me those 2 young ladies.
By the way, this morning, Dunaway gave me his best landmine of all time. I know we're probably not going to ever do this on the air, but or we might. It is the greatest landmine of all time.
Really?
We didn't
I wasn't
know it
here for the
existed.
conversation.
Rocky, you would absolutely die at this one. This is the best one I've ever heard.
Wow.
No, it really is. It's your best landmine.
So
ever.
the landmine has already been executed, or Jim has landmined something that's going
No,
to...
he landmine. I mean, this is just, it's
it's
an
already
incredible
happened.
story. Oh, yeah. It happened years ago.
Okay. Well, we'll possibly tell this story.
I didn't hear the
I
story.
lean yellow light on telling it on the
Yeah,
air.
okay, let's don't tell
Well,
it.
if Lance is yellow light.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, I think it's probably more red for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Burning red.
Burning red.
Well, we'll take a consensus here.
No. Now that you bring it up,
Brown might think it's not that big of a deal.
No.
I've probably. Do you think I've heard it?
No,
Just don't remember. Okay.
No. All right, it is 9 after. Rockstar's viewing menu coming up, and a lot more, including Todd Fuhrman at 12 noon. But when we come back, Rockstar's viewing menu, and we'll do our upset alert.
All right.
And we will not tell that story, apparently. Part of the show being brought to you by the great folks at Bromberg's. It is a gift that keeps on giving, just like everything you can get from Bromberg's.
Yes, make sure you stop into one of those 2 great locations, Mountain Brook and the Summit. You can also shop online right now. They've got the online store up. It's at brombergs.com. Family owned and operated since 1836. They've established that.
Ginger and TJ Vignale have been providing Alabamians with a great night's sleep for over 30 years.